Hello, students. Let's just see what we took yesterday and what we have in the lesson. Everyone makes mistakes. And we're going to just have a quick revision onto what we took yesterday in the lesson. So we have here, first of all, the discussion, or the part that we have here, listen and discuss, which is concerning that everyone makes mistakes and that they do happen. And sometimes there are some kind of consequences that can happen after this mistake. Now, we had a lot of discussion, or a lot of examples. We're going to just go back, pass by them again, so we can just answer and see what are the basic words and the questions that we have. So let's start.
Unit 1. Everyone makes mistakes. Pages 6 and 7. 1. Listen and discuss.
Mistake. A company rejected the patent for the telephone. In 1876, the most important communications technology was the telegraph. A wealthy company called Western Union was in control of this technology. The president of the company, William Orton, was offered the patent for an invention called the telephone for $100,000. Orton sent a response to the 29-year-old inventor of the telephone, Alexander Graham Bell. It said, "After careful consideration of your invention, while it is a very interesting novelty, we have come to the conclusion that it has no commercial possibilities. What use could this company make of an electrical toy?" Bell kept the patent and created his own telephone company, which became the largest in the U.S. The patent Bell had offered Western Union eventually became the most valuable patent in history. Orton could have made one of the best deals in business history. Instead, he may have made the worst business mistake in history.
Mistake. The Titanic ignored warnings about icebergs. On April 14, 1912, the RMS Titanic, the largest and most modern passenger ship of its time, hit an iceberg and sank. This resulted in the deaths of 1,517 people. Yet incredibly, this tragedy could have easily been avoided. On the day the Titanic sank, it had received 5 warnings from other ships about heavy ice in the area. However, the captain was not worried. In fact, he even increased the speed of the ship so that it could arrive in New York a day earlier than expected. That evening, while the Titanic's radio operator was sending out personal messages from the passengers, he received a 6th ice warning. This one warned of an iceberg directly in the path of the Titanic. The operator was supposed to give the message to the captain, but busy with his task, he put the message aside. It never reached the captain. If it had, the Titanic tragedy might never have happened.
Yes, now you can see that we have here 2 big mistakes that have happened in history. So we have the first one, which is concerning the company that rejected the telephone. And then we have the other big mistake, which was the mistake of the famous Titanic. Let's see what we have next.
Mistake. Russia sold Alaskan gold to the U.S. Alaska had been considered a burden rather than an asset by Russia for a long time. It was remote, indefensible, and of little benefit. So when William Seward, U.S. Secretary of State, began negotiations on his own initiative, he expected to encounter some opposition. However, the outline of the deal was accepted by the cabinet, and the agreement was signed in March 1867, transferring Alaska to the United States for a payment of $7.2 million. However, the purchase of a seemingly desolate and mostly frozen land was greeted with criticism by the press and the public. Alaska was referred to as Seward's Folly, Seward's Icebox, or President Johnson's Polar Bear Garden. attitudes that must have changed drastically after the discovery of gold. Russia should have investigated potential resources before selling the land to the U.S. at the price of about 2.5 cents per acre.
Yes, so this is going to the third mistake that we have here. So we have the mistake of Russia that sold Alaskan gold to the U.S. and of course it was a very big loss. We have the fourth and the last one.
Mistake. Coca-Cola tampered with their successful formula. Coca-Cola was launched in the 1880s. By 1980, it had been the most popular soft drink in the world for nearly 100 years. However, by that time, Coke had more competition, and its sales figures started slipping. In an effort to boost sales, Coca-Cola created a new, improved formula. This new formula was tested in 200,000 taste tests, and the results were clear. Most people much preferred the flavor to the original Coke. The Coca-Cola Company decided to stop producing the formula they had been using for 100 years and to replace it with new Coke. This was an enormous marketing mistake. People were outraged that the original Coke was no longer available, and the new Coke was a flop. Coca-Cola executives must have been surprised. They had to get rid of new Coke quickly and bring back the original formula.
Okay, so let's see what do we have for our exercises. First of all, let's start with the first one, which is the quick check. Now we have the words, 6 words actually. We have here boost, endure, flop, novelty, outraged, and tampered. Now we took before the discussion, and today also we just listened to the stories of the mistakes again, just to match and see what are the words and their meanings and what did we understand from the context. So we have here the first one, boost. Now when we say that, we try to boost something. So it's something that is low and we're going to have to make it more higher. So we have here the meanings. We have very angry, put up with, new thing, failure, interfered with, and we have here raised. So when we say that I want to boost something, it's the same thing as we have here, yes, raise. The second one, we have here the word endure. Now we have here also the 5 meanings. Now if you're not still familiar with the word endure, we can just skip it and see what we have after that, and then we'll just go back. So can you make sure of the meanings that you understood? We have here, let's see, number 3, which is flop. Flop is easy. It's maybe a little bit the opposite of raise, or we have here boost. So when something just goes down with, you can see a kind of a quick action, it flops. So it's going to be something that is different from raising. So when something just goes down, let's say for example stocks, they flop, means that they did not succeed and means that they can be a kind of, what do you think from the meanings here? And then after that we have here the word novelty. We have also the word outraged. So we have here, let's see the meanings also. Now when we say that someone is very angry, he is outraged. And we have here the last one, tampered. When something, someone plays with something he shouldn't do, or he does something to a thing that is not supposed to happen, means that he did something. He might have damaged, he might have did something wrong to it, causing some kind of failure, we can say. So I gave you some just hints for some words, so you can just remember what you took before. Now we have here the word endure. We can say that something is enduring, means that something is lasting. You endure something, you make it last for a long time, means that it is going to be, yes, be, to put up with. Now when you put up with something, it means that it is something that will last. And then we have here the word flop. Now we have here flop, we said that something just goes down because it is a D, which is a failure. After that, we have here the word novelty. Now, novelty here, when we say something is modern or is something that is, let's say, not known before, it is C, a new thing. Then we have here outraged. Now, we said that some people, when something bad happens, they become outraged, which means that they are very angry. And when you do something you're not supposed to do to a thing, it means that we have here E, which is interfered with. So we have here interfering means that it's something that you shouldn't be doing or shouldn't be saying. You just went along and did it. So we have here, these are the meanings that we have in the lesson with the words. Yes, now I want to just move on, or actually go back at the same time and see some sentences that we have here. Now let's just read from the beginning. We have here about Coca-Cola, which is a common drink that we know. We have here Coca-Cola was launched in the 1880s. By the 1980, it had been the most popular soft drink in the world for nearly 100 years. However, by that time, Coke had more competition and its sales figures started slipping. Now, if you move on with the paragraph that you have here, you will notice from the sentences that we have a lot of verbs and a lot of actions that happened. Now, we can say, for example, here that sales started slipping. This is an action that happened. And after that, in an effort to boost sales, Coca-Cola created a new improved formula. The new formula was tested in 200,000 taste tests, and the results were clear. Most people much preferred the flavor of the original Coke. Now let's just see something here. We said that this new formula was tested. Now, who did the test? We don't know. So here we know that Coca-Cola was tested, but who did it actually? We don't know, which makes it a passive sentence. And also we can just go by and see here, for example, that we have, after that, the Coca-Cola company decided to stop producing the formula they had been using for 100 years and to replace it with new Coke. This was an enormous marketing mistake. People were outraged that the original Coke was no longer available and new Coke was a flop. It failed. Coca-Cola executives must have been surprised. They had to get rid of new Coke quickly and bring back the original formula. So after this whole story, we know that the executives, they must have been surprised. Did we see the executives? Do we really actually know what happened to them? No. But it is a guess that we think that it is true. That's why we have here the sentence has must have been. They must have been surprised. So you can see that we have here must, which is a modal, and we have here have been, are used also in the sentence. Now we're going to go in more details about how to use this kind of structure in sentences. So we're going to move on to what we have here in the lesson. Now note that all the stories that we have here, they were in the past. And note that specifically talking about Coca-Cola, it was a story that happened in the past. We were talking about changing the formula and then going back to the old one. And we're guessing that they must have been surprised in the past. So here, your lesson, the grammar lesson, is going to be about using the modals in the past. What are modals? Modals are helping verbs that we have in sentences. They can be like may, have, or might have. You can also use could have, must have, should have. We have here was or were supposed to. So let's just go in detail here. Now we have here might or may have plus the past participle. Note when you're using here this tense, we are actually using the modals in the past with the past participle. So the basic structure that we have here is the past participle tense we have here. Let's just erase it, and we have here. Yes, go back to it. Now, when is it used? It is used to suggest uncertainty or possibility about the past. So when we said that something might have happened, we're not very sure, but it's kind of a possibility. So for example, I lost my cell phone. I may have left it at school. Am I sure that it is at school? No, but it's a possibility. It's the same thing when I say that you might have dropped it at the restaurant. Also, I'm just giving a guess. The second one, could have. Also here, note that we are using could have plus the past participle, which is used in two ways here. You can see that we have here two ways. Either to talk about the past with uncertainty, still I'm not sure. Or we have a number two, to talk about an option in the past that was not taken. So when can you use could have? Either I'm not certain about something, I'm not sure, or I'm talking about an option, a kind of choice that I had, but it wasn't taken. Let's see the examples. Do you think I could have left my cell phone at your house? So still, we're looking for the cell phone. Do you think it could have been at your house? So this is some kind of, okay, a question which is not certain. Or I can say, he could have been a doctor if he hadn't made the mistake of dropping out of school. You can see that, okay, so we have a man or a young man, he dropped out of school. If he completed, he could have been a doctor. So this was an option that did not happen. So here we have two meanings, and note that in both meanings we have here the past participle. So just to make sure that you're on the same track with me, we have here first, we used may have, might have, using the past participle. Also, we have here could have in both sentences, and we use the past participle. So now you know that we have here the modal plus have, which is the basic, and then we have here the past participle of any verb. Moving on. We have here must have. It's the same thing. Now must have plus the past participle, like the Coca-Cola executives. Now we have here, this is our rule, is used for drawing conclusions about the past. So we concluded that they were surprised or they were shocked. I got lost on the way here. I must have taken. So we have here must have is the same thing, and we have with it the past participle, a wrong turn somewhere. After that we have here should have. Should have here is used with the past participle to talk about mistakes made in the past or expectations that have not been met. So we are talking about something that happened in the past. For example, you should have apologized for your mistake. They should have arrived by now. So still, we are talking about something that has not happened or expectations that have not been achieved. And still, you can see that we use the modal with have plus the past participle form. Moving on, we have here was and were supposed to. So we can see that we applied the modals. Now we have here verb to be in the past, which is was and were plus supposed to. So this is something different. Now here, at this point, we have here was and were supposed to, plus the base form is used to express that an expected action didn't happen. So let's say, for example, that Ahmed was supposed to arrive by now. Did he arrive? Not yet. So this is something that was expected to happen but didn't. So instead of using the modal plus have, we can use verb to be in the past with, we have here, supposed to in the sentence. And as we said, it is used to express that an unexpected action didn't happen. For example, the football game was supposed to start at 1 o'clock, but it was postponed because of the rain. Where were you last night? You were supposed to help me with my essay. Moving on. We have here the passive modals. So when we read the story about Coca-Cola, we also just mentioned the passive. Now we said that the passive is related with something, or the subject is not mentioned, or is not the important part. Now we have here, for example, the money could have been given to the poor. The package should have been sent a week ago. So you can see from these two sentences that we do not know who sent the package, and we do not know also who gives the money. What we do know that we are going to use here could have and should have, but we are going to apply another word which has been in the sentence to turn it into passive. So we had, first of all, our first examples. We said that we're going to use the modal plus have plus the past participle, or the third form, which is the past participle, to give all the options that we mentioned. But if you want to turn it into passive, you are going to use, we have here the modal, plus we have here have, plus been, plus the past participle form. So just adding been here changes the structure of the sentence and turns our sentence into passive. So you can see here that the passive modals in the past are used to give options about events and situations that happened in the past. And of course, we have here the basic thing. As we said here, the subject plus the modal, have been, and plus the past participle. Now here, these are our basic rules that we have here. Now just to give examples here, circle the correct modal in the past to complete each sentence. I have a sore throat. I should have or may have caught your cold. So since I'm sick, I'm giving a kind of possibility, so we're going to say here, may have. He wasn't supposed to or shouldn't have known the business ideal, but he found out by mistake. So something that shouldn't have happened, we're going to say that he wasn't supposed to. You have a big smile on your face. In all the vacation pictures, you should have or must have had a great time. So since you're smiling, we're going to say you must have. And we have here number 4. It appeared we have here, I didn't know where she is, but she was very tired. She may have gone to bed. Moving on to number 5, I must have or should have paid more attention in English class. Now I'm completely confused about the grammar. So something that regretted that didn't happen in the past, we're going to say that I should have paid more attention. I must have or shouldn't have ordered the new laptop. It was too expensive. So we have here, it's too expensive means that there is some kind of regret, means that we have here shouldn't have. Did you get the package? It was supposed to or must have arrived by today. So something that should have happened, we're going to say it was supposed to. And you may not have or should not have said that. Now you're hurt, you've hurt your friend's feelings. We're going to say that you should not have said that, and we should be careful. Moving on. Now complete each sentence with a modal in the past. For some items, more than one modal may be possible. So we're going to just pass by them and see what are the modals that we have here as a choice. It's too bad we didn't know where you were. Or sorry, it's too bad we didn't know you were there. We met up. We said we could have met up. So we're using the modal plus have. She studied biology in school, but she ended up studying medicine instead. So we have here something that changed. We can say that she was supposed to. Farah gone to Dubai this summer, but she decided to stay home instead. So we have here could have gone. It's a possibility. He have said that. I think they must have misunderstood him. So we have here he couldn't have said that. It was such a beautiful day today. We gone to the beach. We can say that we could have gone to the beach. I'm not sure what we did with the bottles. We put them in the recycling bin. We might have. It's a possibility. the product been a big success, but instead it was a flop. So we're going to say the product should have been, but something else happened. You were right there when the accident happened. You must have, or should have, should have seen everything. You know, or who knows what could have happened in the other candidate had won the election. And you look refreshed and well rested. You must have slept well. Moving on. Now to rewrite the sentences as passive sentences. Now we have here the group of sentences. Now we're going to just turn them into passive. As we said, we're going to just remove the subject and just apply using the modal plus have plus been and the past participle form. So we have here the first one. Someone must have dropped these keys at the meeting. Now we do not know who dropped them, so we're going to say that these keys must have dropped at the meeting. You can see that we have here the object, then we have must as the modal, have, been, and the past participle dropped. Number 2, we have here the Mayans may have drunk hot chocolate as far back as 2,600 years ago. So hot chocolate may have been drunk. This is the basic form that we have here, and you can complete by the rest of the sentence. But you know that also we have here the modal, have, been, and the past participle, and of course the object in the beginning. A professional photographer must have taken this picture. We are concerned with the picture here, so we are going to say that this picture must have been taken. A computer error may have caused the accident. Now, I'm concerned about the accident. We're going to say that the accident may have been caused. The police officer should have arrested him for speeding, but he let him go with a warning. So I'm concerned with the man himself. So we have here, he could have been arrested for speeding. Then we have a number 6. We have here, registrator should have given you a course catalog on the first day of school. I am concerned with you. So we're going to say, you should have been given a course catalog. So you can see that we have here all of these sentences that we applied in the passive. They have the object in the beginning, then the modal, then have, been, plus the past participle. So this is going to be the lesson that we have here. We have number 7 as an end, or we maybe have 2 left. We have here a squirrel or a rabbit might have eaten the vegetables in our garden. Now our concern was about the object, as we said. So we have here the vegetables in our garden might have been eaten. The mechanic was supposed to have fixed our car by now, but it's still broken. Now we're talking about the car. Our car was supposed to have been fixed by now. So we have here, this is our lesson for today. We talked about the modals, and we use the modals in both active form and passive form. If you are using the modals in the active form, you're going to use it plus have and the past participle. If you want to turn it into the passive form, you just have to add been in the sentence and of course apply the object in the beginning. So it's a very easy rule that you can just apply, so pay attention and make sure that your words are in the same order.